Hey, my friend, it's Melanie Ferguson, your host of Creatives on Fire, the podcast where I hope to inspire you to create a profitable six-figure following online. So turn it up and listen in to amazing stories of success, along with behind-the-scenes secrets and valuable tips from, you guessed it, Creatives on Fire. Welcome back to the podcast. This week, it is my honor to have special guest Ashley Raetz. She started a little business called RiOak Design out of her kitchen that exploded, and now she actually coaches other entrepreneurs on how to do what she did with a company called Creative Strategies. Ashley, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited you're here. Tell us a little bit about just really where it all started with the RiOak Designs.
Well, it started really, as you said, at my kitchen table, and the business is named after my two little girls, Riley and Oakley. It really got started because I was told the word no for a pay raise, and I decided that that would be the last time that I would let anybody determine what my value was. So I started painting signs and started posting on Facebook and doing custom orders, selling on Etsy and Amazon and Facebook Lives and in Facebook groups. And as you know, your vibe attracts your tribe, and other creatives started noticing the success that I was having and started reaching out saying, Ashley, how do I? So that's a really short version. I've been in the field for 10 years now and super excited to be here with you today. And hopefully you guys will learn something.
Oh, I don't have any doubt that they will learn something. You're amazing. So tell us, was there any type of system that you set up, or at the beginning, I'm sure you had no way to know where this was going to lead you, but looking back, were there certain steps that you took to get to where you are today?
You know, I honestly think, and this still holds true today for me in business, the number one thing that I have always taken with me from the very beginning until now is building relationships and being patient. So just knowing that that day in and day out grind that you're having might not have an effect on a sale for you today. However, you don't know what that relationship or somebody seeing your product or a post that you make on your social media, how that can affect in 2 years or 3 years. Kind of the name of the game being in business is you've got to stay in business. And once you do that for a while, word of mouth does spread. So I honestly think even from the beginning, just building those relationships allowed me to learn what customer service was and just being able to show up and being consistent every single day.
Was there anything, did you have like anything go viral or anything that actually helped you just to kind of take off, or was it always just a hunt and peck?
Probably the moment that RiOak arrived was actually from a relationship with a customer who was a marketing director for casinos. And she had purchased some signs for me and then reached out and said, hey, I love all of the decor that I bought from you. Would you be interested in contracting to do some hand-painted pieces and building an 18-foot boat dock as a display? So that was the moment when we said yes to be able to do that. It really kind of made us, I guess you could say, it wasn't a viral post, but it really made us look professional at that moment. Just because we were able to put like a bigger business to the product that we were providing. So that's probably the turning point for my business. But here's the thing that I want you guys to understand. I had already been in business for 3 years at that moment, just by word of mouth and posting with orders on Facebook. So that didn't happen immediately, that I was like, I'm not that, overnight success. It was just showing up every day. But it was that relationship that was built that probably was the turning point for my retail business.
I love that. And this relationship, how did it start?
She's local here. She actually married a local boy. I'm a small town girl. If you guys are listening, come from a town of 1,000 people. So if you feel like you don't have the audience or you don't have the crowd around you, trust me, I live in a town of 1,000 people. And she had married a local boy to where I live, and she had this, a bigger marketing job and just had bought something actually at a craft show from me, and then had ordered some custom stuff for her wedding. And that is, it's just a relationship that has built. So that's basically how that worked.
How did that ripple effect go? How did you stay in touch?
Well, she works just right across the street from where my business is now. I mean, we see each other, you know what I mean? But with that actually came more jobs from the casinos. For actually a couple of years, they contacted us. And so that was something just kind of nurturing that with a bigger business and kind of, I guess showing up for them too and doing things on time and hitting those deadlines. I think it's important, whether it's a bigger business or your smaller customers as well, just to make sure that you're able to deliver on the promises that you're making.
Exactly.
So that's basically what we did is we just nurtured that for a couple of years, and doing whatever we could to be able to build those displays because the money was good with that.
So what did that weekly workflow look like? Were you sending emails at that point, or were you going live on Facebook? How did you start to grow that business?
So I actually started business before lives were really a thing on Facebook. And so it was just posting basically the products. And I kind of ran, which you will respect this, I kind of ran my Facebook page a lot like a blog. So I brought my customers in more on a personal level just because my business was named after my kids. So it was posting every single day, posting products that we had done. And then actually, I'm kind of old school here in the maker world. I set up at farmers markets every week. And so I would take on orders there, then I would bring them back. I set up a custom table and really did that for a little bit and built my business up that way. And then just posting like where I was going to be. And then eventually that led into the paint party business later on after the farmers market. And that's where word really started spreading about our business too, because then friends would bring their friends. And I did that for over 2 years and had really, really good success until our online sales really took off. And so just that workflow was getting up. You had your orders. I would cut wood, I would sand wood, then I would paint it, answer all of the messages. You wear so many hats as a small business owner, and especially as a creative and a maker, sometimes it's overwhelming with everything that we do. So I had to set up the workflow, right? So I had to check emails, I had to check messages, then go cut, then go paint, then design the stencils for them, then send the proofs to them, and then paint it. And then, of course, at that moment, I don't know if anybody here can relate to this, but like I was delivering them in the Walmart parking lot, or, wherever it was to be able to meet people. And that was at the beginning. So I think if you don't hear anything else that I say during this interview, what I want to tell you is do what is right for you at that moment. But also know that usually there is an easier way once you've been in business, but it doesn't have to be hard. We don't have to have all the fancy websites. We don't have to have all the things, just getting started. Right. And so if you need to meet people at Walmart because you don't have a website set up to do shipping or arrange local pickup or something like that, that is okay. You just got to get started.
Yes, get started and keep going. I hear you. So I know that you had small children that were just, right there at your feet when you were doing this business. How did you stay focused?
That's tough. It's really hard, I think, but I don't think that ever changes even as you grow because your responsibilities are always there. To be honest with you, I'd go to work full time. I'd come home, do supper, let the kids actually kind of do some crafts there at the table with me while I was painting, get them put to bed, and then spend the last 2 to 3 hours of the evening working on orders. And did that till I was able to leave my career. And then once I left that and I came home, it was a little bit easier. Came home to work because I didn't come home to keep my kids. They still went to daycare and to school, and I was able to paint from the time that I got them where they needed to be, and then had a regular work day is what I would call that. But it is tough as a maker, because a lot of times people think, oh, well, you're at home. You have time to be able to do this when you're really trying to run a business. So I think by staying organized with a planner, having a routine that you do, a lot of times it's easy as we're walking through to go to the bathroom to see that there's still dishes in the sink. If you were at the 8 to 5, you wouldn't be doing them either, right? So don't do them during the middle of the workday either. For you, treat your business the way that you would treat your regular 9 to 5 job. That would be a big piece of advice if you are working from home and trying to keep everything organized, because it's tough.
That's amazing. That's an amazing piece of advice to, you wouldn't be doing whatever you wouldn't be doing if you weren't there at all. Treat it like that, because that is how you separate it from being just a hobby that you do when you squeeze out the time to do the business, as opposed to a business and then you do the life afterwards. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So as you were growing and exploding and your business was tripling probably before your very eyes, how did you know and how did you actually make that shift into bringing other people on board?
Well, it was one of those things that I realized like I could do no more. I mean, physically and mentally could do no more. And I had somebody reach out and was like, hey, if you need some part-time help, just message me. I was in the middle of a really busy paint season with it being Christmas. And I thought, man, what else could I get done if I had somebody come in and be able to paint clean the paint brushes and set up my tables and clean the area. And so I did have her come in during that. And what I quickly realized, not having a clue of what I was doing at the time, was how much more time that I had. I was able to design because I wasn't standing there washing paintbrushes for 30 minutes or putting tablecloths on or washing the aprons and getting everything set up. That was the whole process. So I quickly realized that I was able to save so much time and get so much more done. So then as a business owner, you have to kind of stop and think, okay, how much money, what is my return on investment with this employee? And are they making you money? And if you can pay that person and they continue to make you money, then all of a sudden your business continues to grow. And so it's kind of at that moment that it was like, if I used her full time, how much more can I get done? And so then it just kind of continued to grow from there. You kind of will get to a point to where you might get a little bit overwhelmed even with having another employee because you guys she's having to work over the 40 hours or he. And so if your sales are there, as long as that employee can make you money, meaning that you can pay them and they can make you money and you can pay your taxes and you're making an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month off of the work that they're doing, then it's worth it because it takes away your job responsibilities too, to where you can continue to expand in other streams of revenue.
So you would say that person was clearly pivotal in you going another direction as well, because you would never probably have thought about adding to your plate at that point.
No, not at all.
And so I love the ideas that you're giving us for things that you would have them to do. What was the second thing that you handed off? Like what was something else that you handed off after just like those tasks that really anyone could do? And first of all, I'd like to also backtrack and say that if you notice what Ashley shared with us is that she handed off the things that don't really have to be her. And she still stayed behind and did the things that only she could do at the time, which was the designing and the actual probably relationship growing and building still. But what was the next thing that you handed off?
This is a no-brainer, Melanie. Shipping. The business continued to grow online at this time, and I was spending hours upon hours trying to ship out the product. So the one gal that I had, she was, doing it, but then all of a sudden it was where we were both doing it and trying to do our other responsibilities as well. And I'm like, I've got to hire somebody else. And so I did. I hired a full-time shipper at that moment, and it saved me so much time again, to where then I had a full-time painter, I had a full-time shipper, and then I was able to learn other platforms to be able to keep selling. So fast forward to now, I have 8 full-time employees that work in my retail business, and then 2 full-time employees that work in the creative strategies for me as VAs. And I'll tell you, I am a fan of hiring people. I love to be able, at first, I know what you're thinking. If you guys are creatives and you're watching this, there is nobody else that can do what it is that I do. Now, the flip side, I will agree with you in the fact that nobody truly is going to care for your business the way that you do because it is your baby. They're going to do things a little bit different than what you are going to do. But what I will tell you is that you're going to have to let go of some of that control if you want to be able to see your business grow. People are able to print a shipping label. People are able to package up your products. People are able to, do some of those tasks that are what I would consider busy work to allow you to be able to continue to build your business with multiple streams of revenue. And like Melanie said, your relationship building with your customers. Because as a small business, the one thing that you can never forget is that you are your brand. Your face to your business is your brand. So you have to be the one that's building those relationships. You have to be the one that's showing up. Let everybody else kind of do the cleaning, do the shipping, ordering in supplies if you need it for, whatever it might be. They might need to run to the store. They might need to take packages to the post office. You take care of your customers and let your employees be able to take care of you.
Definitely, definitely. And if you wanted to kind of segment that over to blogging, I mean, someone else can actually do some of that writing for you. You may still be the one to do the keyword research and come up with the topics and maybe even the titles, but someone else could do the fill in the blank work for you, especially if you have templates set up. But as far as things like YouTube and live video, it still needs to be you because you are still the one growing your brand. You don't need to outsource those type of things because your voice matters and they want to hear and see from you. So Ashley, what advice would you give yourself back at the beginning? If you were just getting started today and you just were looking at that first 1,000 followers and you didn't have all the things going on today, what would you tell yourself?
Not to wait so long to take courses or find a business mentor. Honestly, guys, I was a social worker by trade. I didn't know that there was anybody out there that knew how to do what it was that I did. And so I kind of fumbled around, which probably has made me a good business mentor at this point. But I fumbled around not realizing that there was people that had already been where I had been. And so once I found that, I was 4 years into the game and I'm like, holy moly, this would have been nice to be able to find. So probably not to wait so long. I always think about that. What would have happened if a year into it, if I would have been able to find, this course or this training on something that would have helped move me. I mean, I didn't waste 4 years because I think it really gave me a lot of failures and truly has helped me as a business mentor. So everything I believe has a reason. But if I would have taken those courses or found somebody to be able to help me 3 years, like prior to me just getting started in with that business, I always think, man, how much further would I have been along? Because I didn't know that there was people out there that had shortcuts, or teaching or anything like that. And so probably looking back, just don't wait so long to try to get help. Getting to be a part of like some of those Facebook communities sometimes they're really negative or people don't truly want to help other makers in their field. And so that was something I was trying to reach out to find out how to be able to do certain things after I was in the field for a little bit, and other makers weren't as supportive with that. So I think that's probably what I would tell myself is invest in yourself with a business mentor that you could probably trust or a course that you could trust and learn it and then go implement it. I think I'd be so much further along by now if I wouldn't have waited so long.
I agree. And I also think that the key there was learn it and implement it because we all have our course junkie issues where we just buy up stuff and let it sit and collect cobwebs, and we actually need to take action. And I think that the difference is taking action that is on purpose because you've learned it from someone else's mistakes versus just taking action here and there and hoping the spaghetti sticks to the wall. So, Ashley, what motivates you?
If I'm being honest, money. I like the sale. I like the thrill of a sale. I love to be able to help people. So as far as selling a product, I love the marketing of it. I love the challenge. I've got a new product. How much sales can I make with it? As far as my business coaching, it's two totally different things. The business coaching, what motivates me is being able to see the light bulb moment with somebody. That's the motivation. Can I help them be able to get a shortcut? And then all of a sudden they're like, why didn't I think of this? Like, this is super easy. Why didn't I think of it? And so that's probably what motivates me is trying to help other people break through brick walls. I think that's maybe the social worker in me that comes out with helping them. But as far as the retail, I love the thrill of the sale. That might make me sound shallow. I don't know, but I love the marketing. And
I'm so glad that you said money, because it's the honest answer, and it's not always the popular one, because I think people have these different takes on what they think money means. And I think if you have a healthy relationship with money, then it shouldn't be any type of I'm embarrassed or I'm shameful of being proud of that being something that drives you. My goodness, it's definitely something that you can bless others with. And I love the business side where you're into that light bulb moment. So tell us about, I know Ashley has this amazing group of entrepreneurs that she mentors every single month, and she only opens it a few times. How many times a year?
Just one time.
One time a year, guys. Yeah. And it is coming up. She has this amazing course, speaking of courses, called the Creative Codebook. And she is going to open up. You have to take the course in order to get into the group. And so, Ashley, where can we find all that information?
Yeah, if you just want to go to ashleycreatives.com. It's pretty simple. Right there, you can read all kinds of stuff. We've got free resources on there as well. And yeah, you can click on course. You'll be able to find out about the code book. I've got a free business library on there. I actually also on the front page of the website right now, there is a free mini selling course for Facebook groups. It's a 9-video training. And it's not a webinar. It's not a money grab, anything like that. I did that. I do that for people for one reason only. I am not going to be everybody's style of business mentor. I'm just not. And that's something within your business that you have to realize as well, that not everybody is going to like you, especially online. And we have to become okay with that. So I developed this little mini course so you could go in, take a look at it, and it might not be your learning style at all. And if it is, then you are out absolutely nothing at all. But if I am, then you might want to come and join me for that code book. So yeah, ashleycreatives.com. That's where you can find me.
I love it. And I'll have all the links here in the show notes. And Ashley's group, I can tell you guys firsthand, I've been in it. She is so powerful, so thorough. She holds nothing back. She shares fully and just freely with everything that has grown her business to where she is today. And she sends out updates of like, what have you missed? If you missed anything in the group, it's just amazing. So I do have to give it 2 thumbs up if that's such a thing. And so, Ashley, you have been such a treat to have on here today. I appreciate you so much for spending your time with us. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you so much, my friend, for listening to the podcast. I'm blessed every single time you come back and listen to an episode. It's especially amazing when you share it with others on social media. So be sure to follow Creatives on Fire online. Listen, if you have not already done so, I want you to go ahead and download the 5 ideas I personally used to explode my online audience growth to a 6-figure following. You can find that at creativesonfirepodcast.com. I appreciate you, and until next time, stay inspired.